Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Fasa the Silver Chimera, and this is another recap review of Halo Season 2. We're on the penultimate episode. There's only 8 episodes in the season, and this episode had a lot of interesting stuff, cool build-up. We'll see how it sticks to landing, but for right now, let's get to it. The episode begins with Master Chief and Maki on some kind of shared visual hallucination on the Halo ring. They start swapping spit about like humanity's no different than the Covenant, and the Covenant's no different than humanity, and Maki wants her and Master Chief to go off and be gods or something, and Chief is like, no, because Vanek's dead and you were with that elite, and then people yank them out of their vision. Some sci-fi explosion stuff happens. Maki still being on the Covenant ship that has Ferrari Bugatti and all of his homeboys fighting the priest and his homeboys. So she gets up and scurries away. The priest guy chases after her, runs into a room, sees Cortana. Cortana speaks elite and says his name. I think it's like Pluto Yamama or something. Doesn't really matter. Cortana says, oh, look, a distraction, and then Maki stabs him in the chest. So that was pretty fun, right? After that, Maki and Cortana figure out where the Halo ring actually is. We cut back to Onyx, and Parangoski is being an ass to Ackerson because that's what she does best. The Covenant fleet has shown up, so she's telling Ackerson to get the Spartan 3s ready. Ackerson says that's a terrible idea. She says, I don't care. We then cut to Master Chief just walking around being led by a series of blue lights from Cortana, turns a corner, and that short-haired chick from that one episode comes back with the boys. They all point guns at Chief. Chief gives him that, like, looks him in the eyes and being like, I was behind the gun once. And they're all like, fuck the chain of command. And then the short-haired chick starts getting uppity. She looks a little scared. I get it. She's been talking a lot of shit, and now there's no one with guns in a room with her, with Master Chief. So she starts getting a little barky, and then Kai comes up and just puts her ass to sleep. Which, you know, I thought was well-deserved, honestly. We cut to Miranda, Quan, and Halsey in the Forerunner dig site place, and they bicker, and there's some Forerunner-y stuff, and, you know, that's about it. Moving on. Cut back to Onyx. Ackerson and Parangoski are watching the first wave of Spartan 3s show up to the one Covenant Corvette and the rest of like the entire Covenant fleet. And I also think they implied that High Charity came with them because they're talking about like some kind of gravitational sci-fi bullshittery. So, you know, this is like the battle of battles, I suppose. And the first wave of Spartan 3s get deleted. Like they just start dropping like flies, which again, very lore accurate. And Ackerson doesn't like that. And I'm surprised that he's surprised. Like he's worked with Parangoski. What did you think she was going to do? We cut over to Soren and his wifey Pooh, and they're still at like the Thermopylae place. He kind of goes into his backstory about, you know, the night that he was there, and him, Riz, Vanek, all the main Spartans that we know never ran. They just fought until they got their asses beat. And then he talks about how this is like Kessler's turn. And then an interesting little thing is that it's kind of stated, I suppose, that he kind of misses being a Spartan, which was an interesting angle. But the main thing is that he's talking about how like this is Kessler's turn and he wants him to make that decision of what kind of man he's going to be. And it's an interesting like dialogue scene, and like it's interesting to see in a Soren's mind. But like, you know, don't have your son get the shit kicked out of him by grown men with metal sticks. Just a thought. We then cut to Perez arming herself, getting her armor. She pulls out the coin that Chief flipped for her in the episode where Reach fell. And they're getting ready to send the second wave of Spartan 3s to this giant fleet. And, you know, she's kind of a badass now. Like, she's seen some shit. One of the other Spartan 3s is, like, scared. And she says, like, you're scared of being scared. So, like, you know, get ready. And I thought it was a cool scene. Like, you know, Perez has seen some shit. We've been following her. And it's cool to see her come through the other side of that cycle that she was in. And now she's, like, a hardened warrior. So it was neat. We cut back to Master Chief just wide walking with Kai. Kai kind of tries to say sorry, but like in the Spartan way, I guess. And Chief doesn't really give a fuck at the moment. He's just trying to find his suit. Cut back to the ladies in the mine, and they're still bickering and arguing and discussing sciencey Forerunner shit. And then Quan's over in her quarter touching stuff, and things are lighting up, so she does a thing. Back over on Onyx, Master Chief gets his hands on Ackerson, both literally and figuratively. Ackerson is able to force the words out of his mouth as he's actively being choked that the spike that they're sending with the Spartan 3s is not actually like a viral shutdown takeover tech thing. It just turns the Corvette into a giant nuke. So the plan is to just nuke everything all at once. Back over with the ladies in the mine, Miranda and Halsey have the dad's dead moment. It's kind of sad. It's kind of heartwarming. It's also kind of weird because it happens really fast. Miranda doesn't believe Halsey right away, but Halsey confirms that she saw her father die. So she just has to deal with that. Over yonder, Master Chief, Kai, and Ackerson get to the like vaulted area that had the rest of the Spartan 2's armor, that being Riz, Vanek, and Chief. This scene had some good dialogue between Master Chief and Ackerson. Boiling it down to the main point, Chief just says Ackerson ain't shit and it's his time to pay up. You know, it's time to put that ass on a plate. So that's the plan. Chief gets his armor back, and Ackerson has to go tattletale on Parangoski, and he will be getting in trouble, and that's just fair. Back over in the mine with the ladies, Quan starts to figure it out because she realized from her weird-ass dream vision stuff from like the ending of the first episode that this was like a star map clock thing, so she has to like redo the sky to fit the old ways or something, and then the hologram Halo ring opens the door. They walk on a classic Halo Forerunner light, like hard light bridge. That was neat. They find this old Forerunner laboratory, which was interesting to me. We cut over back to Master Chief, and him and Kai are talking, and then Kai says, I gotta go with the Spartan 3s because she's actually come to care about them in a weird Spartan way. But Chief is not doing that because he's gotta go vengeance to strike or something. Back over in the Forerunner laboratory, they walk around and look at stuff, and they find a Forerunner's body clutching a new MacGuffin, so that's fun. We now have 3 MacGuffins. Yay. But the Forerunner body was interesting. We don't really get a super good look at it, but it was there. So that was I guess not confirmed Forerunner, but I mean, it looked like a Forerunner. They had like the extra fingers and stuff. So that's cool. Shit starts to get shaky and breaky, so they have to run. And as they're running, the outer edges of this bridge start to like light up and reveal what was in the cavern, and it's like a whole Forerunner city. That was kind of cool looking, but they gotta go Indiana Jones it, and they run, and then, you know, all that kind of shit. So Quan runs off. Miranda took the MacGuffin USB drive switchblade thingy. We'll be back to them in a bit, I guess. Back over with the Covenant, Ferrari, Bugatti, and McKee are like chill now, I guess. And then she takes the mark of shame and hits herself right in the titty with it. And so now they're like bound to each other or some shit. I don't know what we're doing anymore. Moving on. We jump back over to Soren, and they're about to start the hazing ritual, I guess. And right before Kessler starts getting his ass whooped with sticks, Soren jumps in and starts kicking the shit out of people, which was neat. His mom comes in and grabs him, and they both look like really hesitant. And I was kind of confused about that because I was like, why is Kessler... Is this the first time Kessler has seen his father do that? I don't really know. But then they get got, and so now Soren's just kind of standing there like a jackass. Perez is getting ready to leave, and Chief shows up, and they have a little bit of like a heart-to-heart. She tries to like tell him how important he is, and then Chief is like, nah, I'm just a man. And she's like, nah, you're more than a man. And then Chief is like, well, I gotta go. And I don't know. It's this weird, I don't really understand what's going on, because it's like, I think Chief is, I guess he was planning on going somewhere else. I don't know. It's not clear. Maybe we'll talk about it more in a bit. Anyway, Miranda and Halsey start examining the MacGuffin they got from the dead Forerunner lady, and I don't know how they got through this many levels of security. I mean, I guess there's a lot going on, but it's whatever. Halsey hears some shit, and then Miranda opens up the little MacGuffin flash drive thing, and then when she looks up, Halsey's gone. Don't know what that means. We'll find out next episode. Chief starts walking around in his armor, and everyone's all like, oh my God, he's alive, which I thought was funny because, like, most people haven't seen his face, but he is wearing his armor that has 117 on it, but, like, you don't know. I don't know. It was weird. But that whole thing is tied to, like, Parangoski getting outed because like Ackerson doesn't want her to sacrifice the Spartan 3s, which is like somewhat noble of him. And then he gets dragged away yelling, and then Chief is on the comm saying that he's alive, and everyone just believes him. So so then Chief leaves, and it's about fight time. You know, we got Kai on the ship, Spartan 3's ready to go, and then I think Chief shows up, and you get to see the Halo ring, and we'll find out what happens next time. This was a fine episode, not fine as in like exquisite, as in, you know, it was pretty good. It was a C plus, I suppose, and nothing I want to start rating episodes or anything, but it was, you know, it was fine. It was cool to see Ackerson get his, but he wasn't the ultimate bad guy. I'm interested to see how the Parangoski stuff turns out. Hopefully next episode we'll have lots of really cool action with Spartan 3s and the Spartan 2s, so that's kind of neat. And then they're probably going to just like, you know, enter a slip space thing or race to Halo. I don't know, because it's like everyone's already fighting there, I guess. So it's like we're already at the Halo, but I wonder how that ultimately leads to the climax and a possible season 3. You know, not that I don't think it's confirmed or anything, but you know, the whole point of it is to keep going, right? So what would season 3 in total? Season 3 would have to be the actual like Halo storyline, but then also like the Arbiter's there. But then are we going to talk about the Flood? There was a part where they talked about the Empire of the Forerunners, and it started to like get red and break or something. And obviously I was like, oh, the Flood. So do you think the Flood are coming? Do you think the episode ends with like a tease of the Flood? Where do you think we're going? What do you think about where we've been? And yeah, one more episode. So I am Fasa the Silver Chimera. If you have any thoughts you want to share, please go down in the comment section below. I'll be eagerly waiting for your thoughts on things. If you don't know what to comment, how about just like Titty Brand? That sounds like a weird cereal. Anyway, do me one more favor before you go. Could you just give the subscribe button a Prince Albert piercing, or is it Prince Rupert? I don't know. If you know, you know. If you don't know, don't look it up. Just do what I said. Thank you for checking out my video. It means the most, and it is an honor. I got some stuff to work on, so I will see all of you beautiful monsters next time.